Hey, freaks and friends, welcome to day 20 of the 31 Days of October. The daily Halloween content continues with the 45 years of Halloween celebration. Today, we're taking a look at a film that a lot of people want to hate for one reason that's barely in the film all that much. That's going to be a white horse, but with that, you know that we are talking about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Let's go. Make sure to stab that subscribe button and slash that bell icon so you don't miss out on this daily Halloween content all through the month of October. Halloween 2 was released August 28th, 2009, was written and directed by Rob Zombie. The film stars Malcolm McDowell, Tyler Mane, Sherry Moon Zombie, Brad Dourif, Daniel Harris, and Scout Taylor Compton. So, this film picks up about a year or two. This depends on the cut you're watching of the film. Takes place a year or two after Rob Zombie's Halloween. Of course, we do start with a really awesome sequence at the hospital at the Haddonfield Memorial, but that turns out to be little more than a dream. Some would argue that is where the film ends for them. I disagree. But moving onward, this is a film that, again, picks up after the events of the first one, following sort of the trauma in an earlier stage. This is really the first time that we're seeing that for Laurie Strode, her dealing with the trauma of almost being murdered. And throughout the film, she's got this lurking feeling that Myers is going to come back for her. Annie's still alive, and she's doing her best to cope with the trauma of the last year. And Sheriff Brackett, he's like, yeah, we're going to be moving out here into the middle of nowhere in Haddonfield, which is a country town now. So we're kind of getting back into that sort of Halloween 4, Halloween 5 version of Haddonfield. I think they're probably out roughly where like the Tower Farm would have been in Halloween 5. But anyway, we've got that going on there. Laurie's kind of lost it. She's hanging out with a bunch of ne'er-do-wells, and that's sort of her friend group now. We've got bits where she's lashing out at Annie for being a fellow survivor, and that's really one of the cool things going on in this film I'll touch on here in a little bit is the PTSD angle. That's one thing I really think this whole franchise is about at the end of the day. But Myers is coming back, and Myers is actually, in his own right, having visions of his dead mother and this white horse. There's a little title sequence at the beginning where it's sort of mentioned that, yeah, this white horse, it's a psychological thing. I think it's played pretty well into the film. It doesn't really do anything, overboard. And again, it's not in the film all that much. It's just here and there. But Myers does ultimately come back to sort of seek his revenge. We have Dr. Loomis in here. He's on another book tour. This book is doing a little bit better than his previous book. And that's really kind of the quick way to sum up Halloween 2. What we're going to do is just go into characters right away. Of course, we have Malcolm McDowell playing Dr. Loomis here. Again, he's got a new book out. He's on a book tour. He's not the same guy he was in the last film. This time, he's like, I've got this taste of fame and fortune and everything that goes with it. He thinks us all. But he's a prima donna prick in this film, and I love it. It's terrible. It's not the Dr. Loomis that any of us would like to see. And I like that Rob Zombie sort of took a chance in writing a wholly different Dr. Loomis than we're familiar with, than we're comfortable with. I think it was a pretty bold move. I like the way Malcolm McDowell plays the character here. It might not be my favorite Loomis portrayal at all, but for what it does different, I think is definitely pretty damn great. I really like that part where he's getting angry at his little assistant there, like, go get me a tea and I want it piping hot. And, fucking just the way he talks to her throughout the film, I think is pretty damn entertaining. Laurie Strode, again, in this one, played by Scout. Again, I like the way her PTSD is utilized in this one. And there's just something about the way she plays the character. She's able to play it completely different than she did in the 2007 film. And I don't know, I can't praise her performance here enough for just how batshit crazy she's playing Laurie. And that's what kind of bugs me is a lot of people look at it as she's only batshit crazy in this one. She was almost murdered a year or two ago, depending on which cut of the film you watch. But she's playing a woman who is broken by this experience of a murderer coming after her. A murderer who she finds out through this new book is not just some guy, but her own fucking brother. And for her to have that realization, and we see her reading the book in her car and finding out that, oh, like just the fucking breakdown scene when she learns that is something we never got in the previous canon of the series. And I think that that was something that we really needed. It was a cathartic experience for her as a character, and I think in a lot of ways for us as an audience. And I don't know, just watching her sort of dancing on those phrases of insanity there, perfectly done. Danielle Harrison here as Annie. I like the way that she's sort of also playing into that survivor thing, where she's still pretty fucked up by it, but she's not letting it get to her in the same way that Lori is. I don't know, I wish I had a little more to say about Annie, but Danielle Harris in this one, I think, definitely has some fun with her performance. And I don't know, it's almost like her getting a chance to sort of do Halloween 5 over again. Like, she's like, I'm not going to be quiet this time. I'm going to be kind of a bitch. But that's kind of the thing, too, is the way that post-traumatic stress fucking affects people differently is something that we really get a taste of here. And I enjoy the way that they are both affected differently. It's a little damn realistic. And it's something that I don't know. I almost want to do a whole separate video just talking about post-traumatic stress disorder and Halloween, sort of a little thing to do in sort of its own video. I feel would be proper. I do also want to take a quick discussion at Sheriff Brackett here. The way Brad Dourif plays him in this one is fun. Like, he's still kind of fucked up by the whole thing, but not as much as he wasn't directly in Myers' freaking warpath there. I don't know. He's trying to just help the girls get along, and I don't know. The big scene by Brad Dourif, we all know, is the scene when he finds Annie dead in the bathroom. The emotional breakdown he has, I mean, even if you took out like the Danielle Harris stock footage, his performance in that scene alone is one thing to really freaking elevate this film in a lot of ways. It's just, I don't know, there's something about it. It's almost like the Oscar performance of the franchise, to just see him breaking down when he finds his daughter for the second time, thinking, hey, you were okay last time, and when he finds out that she is not okay, it just breaks you as a freaking audience member and just a freaking human being. If it doesn't get any kind of reaction out of you, you might be a sociopath. And I'm not saying that to be an asshole. I'm just saying that because as much heart as he put into that damn performance there, it's just one of those things, man. It's one of those scenes in the franchise that can almost bring you to tears, is I guess the easiest way to say that. We're going to take a quick segue to the man of the hour himself, though, Michael Audrey Myers. I love this guy. He's back. He's fucking pissed. How he survived being shot in the face, I don't know. Maybe the bullet grazed him. First, I will point out that the little nightmare hospital sequence we get with him, he portrays the Shape in a monstrous manner there. Helps Octavia Spencer pay her dues to get to becoming an Oscar-winning actress eventually. He's just brutal all around, too. Even when we get Hobo Myers, which a lot of people hate. Do I have to beat the white horse on the realism of that? If you were an escaped mental patient who became a mass murderer, you're not going to have a mailing address. You are going to be a nomad. You are going to smell like shit and piss and dirt and whatever the hell else he's running into while he's just kind of out walking around. Maybe a lot of people hate that, oh, we're seeing him. Again, we got to remember, guys, that this is a completely different Myers than was created by John Carpenter and carried along by Dwight Little, Dominic Olton, and Gerard, and fucking all those other guys. Tyler Mane plays a scary, wholly different Myers than the franchise has seen, even completely different than he played him the last time around in the first Halloween. I can't really complain about it. Yeah, it is kind of weird to see Myers' face through a good runtime of the film, to hear him utter "die" as a grown man in the unrated cut. It's a little unnerving, a little upsetting. I don't know. He's got some pretty gnarly kills in this film too, though. Like when he does put that mask back on, like that's what one thing too. When he puts the mask on, it's for a reason. Notice that just about every time he puts it on, hey, it's time to go to work. So it's not like where we have Nick Castle's Myers where he's just wearing the mask because, yeah, let's wear this mask while we walk around in stock. No, when Tyler Mane's Myers puts the mask on here, especially what's left of it, it means it's time to fucking rock and roll. We're going to knock some bitches on the floor. We're going to fucking stomp in, what's his name? Jeff Daniel Phillips' face. That's a pretty gnarly kill, too. The whole strip club scene, I can't remember if that's in the R-rated cut or if it's just in the unrated, but the Rabbit in Red scene is fucking brutal. I really like the cornfield scene where he gets the, I can't remember the character's name, but fucking Bobby Elvis from Sons of Anarchy, when him and his son try and fucking fight him there. Like, this asshole's been stealing our shit. And they kick the crap out of him only for him to stand back up and fucking, oh. God, that scene, when he impales him on the fucking deer antlers there, it's like, I wasn't expecting that to kind of work its way into the story there. I don't know, just almost everything that he does with Myers is pretty solid in this film. Again, the whole die thing, that's my main questionable bit here. And recasting Daig, I don't know, you could have used trick photography maybe to make it work, but I don't know whenever I hear about Daig being recast as Kid Myers, I'm understanding that it's mostly that he got taller. For all we know, maybe he had some facial changes. Maybe his voice fucking came in and just wasn't the same as it was the first time around. To Chase's credit, I forget his last name, but to the Kid Myers credit, he did all right. It wasn't too distracting, but when you're watching these films in a very close proximity with one another, you really do notice the difference, and it does kind of take you aback a little bit. But it's nothing to complain about too much. The White Horse, I'm not going to complain about it because it's cool. What else there? Minor characters. The same thing about the secondary characters in this one. It's just like I said yesterday. A lot of them are just piece of crap people, but you enjoy watching them die, which is all you could ask for at this point. Is there one that stands out? I don't know. Her friend group kind of not really a whole lot about the secondary characters in this film to really go into. I do like that we get to see Margot Kidder in here and Howard Hessman from WKRP in Cincinnati. It's cool to see him up in here. Moving in onto the mood and atmosphere, the cinematography is definitely coming back into that sort of Rob Zombie vein where we have this sort of House of a Thousand Corpses shit going on, especially whenever Laurie's having her episodes. The little nightmare sequence she has where she's reenacting the whole Ronnie kill from the first film with Danielle Harris. And the way you've got the little Season of the Witch looking characters just feasting and waiting. I don't know, there's a lot to unpack with that. Just the way this film is shot is like, it's hard to kind of explain that because on one hand it is almost like your traditional Halloween film, but it's also like the acid induced nightmare fuel at the same time. The music, again, kind of like I said yesterday, you have that sort of typical Halloween thing going on at points, but it is also that very Rob Zombie sort of feel. Uh, of course, the inclusion of other songs. I mean, a lot of the mood and atmosphere stuff that I said in yesterday's really applies to this one. Just copy and paste what I said there and put it here. Really, guys, the thing for me with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, the going into the nostalgia bit, really. I remember it was the week of my brother's birthday. It might have been in fact his birthday because it came out the day before his birthday. We went to the theater and we were going to go and see this film. But the girl taking the tickets had some smart ass comment that maybe she's reconsidered in the last fucking what now, 14 years. She said, well, that movie was pretty bad. I didn't like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I like the Final Destination 4 better, and that one's in 3D. So you know what my brother decides? Being that it's his fucking birthday weekend, this little bastard decides, I'm going to take her word up on this. We're going to go see Final Destination 4. So we completely fucking missed out on seeing Halloween 2 in theaters, the R-rated cut. We had to sit through this 3D shit show that was the Final Destination. Where are you at? Fucking. We had to see this little bastard fucking get out of here. That's how I felt about that. You know, it was a horrible experience. But I'm going to have to fucking go and dig that up later. But we ended up renting it, and my brother, for some reason, hated it. He's still convinced he made the right choice. I loved it immediately just for how different it is. And being that I am like a Myers franchise boy, it's absolutely fucking crazy to me that this is like one of my favorites. And that's kind of the thing. This is one of my favorites for just how it wants to throw caution to the wind and do something different. But yeah, this is one that I like to revisit quite often. I don't have to watch Rob Zombie's first Halloween to go into this one. It's one that I'll just pick up off the shelf, just like Halloween 3. I'm in a Halloween mood. This is one of those ones that I will grab. It's one of my favorites in the franchise. Some of you guys who've been around for a while know that. If you guys are just coming in, now you know. But let's get to the wrap-up point here. Kind of doing this one live, so it feels a little weird. And just so you guys know, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to keep my flow going, because if I get too distracted by the chat, I will get way off course. I do want to thank you guys for being here right now, though. It means a lot. Miss Carter, Matt, Pap, Lady J. I do see you guys there. But getting into the final thoughts, really, this is not a film that I would show at all to somebody who is trying to get into Halloween. Like, if your little niece or nephew or someone says, hey, I want to find out something about that Michael Myers guy, don't show them Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Not just because, depending on their age, it might be a little too much for their mind to take in, but because of just how utterly different it is from everything else going on there. Don't show them this one. Now, if they've watched a few Halloween films, like if they've watched Carpenter's classic, if they've watched Halloween 4 or had to put up with Halloween 5, if they made Uncle Filthy proud and fell in love with Halloween 6, pull this motherfucker out on them, because they're going to like it. Especially if they liked Halloween 3. Definitely show them Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. It's a film definitely for a different type of Halloween fan. The typical Halloween fan is probably not going to take much out of this that they're going to enjoy. I mean, we've all been on the internet at some point. We've seen the hate that this film unrightly gets. Uh, it, it's a film that I just love, and I feel like there is a certain amount of nostalgia there, but there's also enough sort of uh, enough cognitive thinking to where I know that this is a film that I perfectly enjoy. I'm not going to say that it's the greatest film, but I feel that it is. I think it definitely is one that has a. It's the unique take, really, is what it is, and it's Rob Zombie showing that he can make a film that's not just following the template that has been established previously. It does kind of follow his wheelhouse of like a Devil's Rejects type film, but it's also very artistic, and I think in a lot of ways sort of cleared the way for what was going to be. I'm pretty sure it was his next film. Yeah, in a lot of ways, the sort of mental gymnastics going on with this film creatively paved the way for his next film, Lords of Salem, which might be his undisputed masterpiece for me there. We'll try and revisit those at some other point. But yeah, guys, at the end of the day, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, this motherfucker is getting 4.5. What the hell kind of acid PTSD shit did I just watch out of 5? Didn't have a cool little screen for that. You can see the aneurysm I almost have when I come up with those little ratings there. But anyway, I do want to thank you guys for coming in. Just hear me go into Halloween 2. Didn't have time to get this one pre-recorded, but definitely want to thank you guys. You all know what to do down there. Play with the little buttons and that bell if you haven't already. Slice the fuck out of that so that you don't miss out on this daily Halloween content. Don't know how I'm managing to do this every day. It's fucking killing me, but I love it. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for you guys. Just want to take a second again to give you guys your quick shake here. All right. Absolutely. I will be having a happy Halloween there. And yeah, the first one almost always gets the win there. Unless we're talking Rob Zombies, then that's kind of where I'll argue the point just a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right there. Absolutely. All of you guys best take care there. Fucking A, we got some agreement going on there. That's about it. I almost gave this one a 5, but it's like, oh, 5, like 5, it has to be something truly special. As if it were built by a supernatural carpenter by the name of John, our Lord and filmmaker. Blasphemous, sure. But that's how I hold John Carpenter, honestly. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Carter. Anyway, I just want to thank you guys again. If this, I'll be checking out the playback, and if this thing doesn't look too good, I'll try and salvage it and re-release it probably tomorrow or sometime after I get tomorrow's video actually done. I just want to say again, thank you guys. Y'all have a great day. You know what to do. Take care of each other. Be scary. Be safe. And all that other fun stuff. Later, guys.